Hello, ladies. Welcome to the Empowered and Unapologetic podcast. I am your host, Veronica Cisneros. Do you hear that echo?
I don't hear an echo. No.
I hear an echo. Hello, hello. There it is. Okay. Okay, I'm glad you didn't hear the echo, but I want to make sure. Zach, let's go ahead and start here. Hey, ladies, welcome to the Empowered and Unapologetic podcast. I am your host, Veronica Cisneros. Today's guest is an executive level mindset and manifestation coach, #1 international best-selling author, registered nurse, and will be a featured speaker at TEDx Huntington Beach in September 2023. Oh my gosh, I totally got to see you. Wait a minute, did that already happen?
Did, yes.
Oh
yes.
my God, that did. I don't know where I'm at right now. I'm like, wait a minute. Where is that? Where is that?
Like what?
Holy
I don't
moly,
even know
Jen.
either.
Holy moly, Jen. Okay, we got to talk about how that went. She specializes in empowering high achieving women to access their flow so they can live an abundant, creative, and joyful life without the hustle. So please help me by welcoming my guest, Jenn Adamson. Hey, Jen.
Hi, Veronica. Oh my goodness. I am so excited. I love your energy. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
So before we get into the TEDx, tell me about you. And one thing I really, really, truly want to know is, at what point did you feel like I can't do this anymore? And you
Yeah.
knew change needed to happen. Take
Yeah.
me there.
Yeah. I love that. So I'm going to share something that happened. So I have two stories. There's almost two pivotal moments where I hit rock bottom. And I'm going to share the one that happened most recently because that is what has really catapulted me and launched me forward to where I am today. So that happened, I would say, all the way back to 2019, beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
I was in a really unhealthy relationship. I was across the country away from my family in a town that I didn't vibe with. And I was so out of touch with myself, so disconnected to who I was, that I was a shell of a person. I was a new mom as well. So I was also battling with a lot of postpartum depression and anxiety and learning the ropes of just how to navigate motherhood without completely losing myself, which is what I ended up doing for some time.
Yeah.
And through that process, I chose to move out of that relationship. I knew that I didn't know how or what my life was going to look like. But what I did know for sure is that I didn't want my daughter to know that this is what love looked like.
Yes.
Who was a shell of a person, who felt miserable, who was exhausted and burnt out. I didn't know what the road was. I didn't know how to take the steps, but I just trusted almost blindly and leaned into my faith and took those steps. And what happened shortly after that is that I was a nurse leader to 75 nurses and CNAs. I had just taken on this new position, and it was March 9th, 2020. So it was right at the start of COVID.
Holy moly.
And while that was happening, simultaneously, my dad was dying very suddenly, very close to death. He had passed away April 10th of 2020 from leukemia. And he was one of my biggest cheerleaders in my life, biggest cheerleaders, someone I could show all parts of me and show my vulnerable side. And he was the one that I would call when I was starting nursing school saying, Dad, I don't know if I can do this. Can I do this?
Yeah.
And he would be the one to really encourage me. So it was a culmination of all of these things that from the outside looking in really looked like, and it felt like a shitstorm.
Yeah.
Was going through some massive changes, and I wasn't sure how I was going to navigate it. But the biggest thing that I learned particularly with my dad passing away, was that I was not living in alignment to myself. I was not living to fulfill my purpose in life, and life was too short. What my dad taught me in his leaving this earth and now being my heavenly angel and my creative director in my business is that it was time for me to stop beating around the bush, and it was time for me to start really stepping into who I am and what my power was.
Yes. What did you find your power was?
Oh, I love that question. I feel like I'm continuously finding this and it's evolving.
Yeah.
But what really lights me up is empowering women to step into their power, and that it's practice,
Yeah.
that that exercising our authentic power. And this is the power of who we are, the essence of who we are.
Yeah.
Because when we can really understand who the essence of who we are is, we realize how magnetic that is and how much of that creates a transformative ripple effect in the world. But we have to start with those first few steps and understanding that it's not the striving for perfection, it's the progress, it's the putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
It's the radical belief in ourselves, even when our circumstances don't look like that right now. There were lots of times where I thought there's this reel going out right now where I think the question is how did you get the confidence to do what you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
And it's joking, but it says I'm delusional. And I
I'm like, I
there's some,
totally get that. I
right? Yes,
totally get that.
exactly. As a therapist, I think you can understand what I mean by
Yes. Yes.
it's really truly holding that belief and that vision and understanding what it is and allowing ourselves to go there as women
Yeah.
and tapping into our deepest desires of what it is that we want, and then making the decisive and taking the decisive action to know that we are worthy of this. We are worthy of receiving and experiencing joy and pleasure and transformation in our lives.
Yeah. I think where a lot of women get stuck is we tend, especially high achieving women, we tend to go ahead and put our heads down,
Yeah.
and we do strive for perfection in by avoiding what's currently happening.
Yeah.
We're avoiding the now. I hear that a lot. I can't experience the now because I haven't established or I haven't accomplished this goal. I
Yeah.
can't experience the now with my kids. I can't experience and live intentionally because I'm not deserving of it. There's still so many more things to do. Once I get those things done, then I can go ahead and relish in my success. And, another thing that I hear a lot of high achieving women say, is there's so many people I have to protect. There's so many people I have to protect. I have to protect my partner. I have to protect my kids. I have to make sure that they're all okay and minimize, my own success. I can't celebrate my success, and I won't celebrate my success because it came with their sacrifice,
Mm,
right? What do you
yeah,
say to women that
absolutely.
are in that struggle?
Well, that is something, both of those were thoughts and continue to sometimes on some varying degree be the thoughts that I have. And
Yeah.
so, right, because no matter what, we are moms, and I'm in my soulmate love relationship with my partner. And so my life has expanded in some really beautiful ways. And so where I was, 15 years ago when I was in corporate and I was consulting Fortune 500 companies and moving up the corporate ladder, I was burning myself out.
Yeah.
I didn't have the forethought, or no, I wasn't a mom at the time. So
Yeah.
there wasn't that understanding. And so it's absolutely, you're on point with this narrative that as females that we tend to have with ourselves. So the first thing that you hit on is I will be happy when. It's almost as
Yes.
if it's that I can't relax right now. There's no way I can lighten up and experience joy because I have 1,000 things on my to-do list right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that classic symptom of I will be happy when. And here's the thing, Veronica. Here's the thing. I've been there before.
Yeah.
I've been stuck in that cycle of I will be happy when. And I hit all of those milestones. I hit all of those achievements in corporate America. And I wasn't happy. It was an addiction. It was an
Mm-hmm.
addiction to success and to achievement. And what I've learned and what I've understood and what I take my clients through and they've learned and understood is that we have to be where our feet are right here, right now.
Yeah.
Be where your feet are. Be where your feet are here in this present moment. Now, I know that we can't do that 100%. We are inundated with information. We
Of
receive
course.
11 million bits of data every second, and our conscious mind can only take in 50 bits in that 1 second. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to give ourselves some grace and some compassion. Yet when you can realize, when you can set the intention in the morning to be like, I'm going to do my best to be where my feet are. So if my feet are with my daughter in the morning and I'm making her breakfast, maybe that means that I'm not checking my phone for emails, that I can trust myself enough that when the time it comes, when I've dropped off my daughter and I'm here at my desk, now it's my time to work. Now it's my time to be where my feet are in coaching my clients and collaborations and partnerships, like having
Mm-hmm.
this podcast interview. It's a practice. And that's why I said before, stepping into our power, it's a practice. It's about
Yes.
allowing ourselves to be here now. But it is those moments, those small, ordinary moments when we can practice being present, is when we experience immense satisfaction, fulfillment, and joy. It's those moments when I feel so filled up by the moment, like just you and I right now having this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so filled up when I am snuggling with my daughter on the couch watching Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
It's those moments that bring and fill us up that we need to trust. We must trust that that is sending out some really powerful vibrations into the universe to allow us to attract more of that, because we become
Mm-hmm.
a match of who we are.
Yes.
We will never be fully satisfied. This is the practice, because then what happens is in the road to, I air quote, success, the true measurement of success is really who we become in the process of reaching our goals.
Yeah.
Because we hit our goals and we haven't created and really cultivated this sense of joy and presence and progress over perfection, we will never be fully satisfied and fulfilled when we
Yeah.
reach those goals.
Yeah.
We just won't. We'll be like, okay, what's next? And it will be coming from this lack mentality of never enough, lack of abundance, lack of joy, lack of fulfillment. So that's what I say for the first part, because I catch myself doing that too. Believe me, I am a high achiever. I'm a go-getter,
Right.
and I will never change. I love that quality. I also know that it has a time and a place, and there is that fine line where I can take it to the point of obsession.
Yes.
That's when I get to recognize and go back to my practices. That's why I truly do practice what I preach. And it's time and time and time again. It is an ongoing process. It never is just a one and done.
No.
And then the second thing you talked about was protecting my family, protecting my spouse. And I 100% understand that too. We have to take it back to as where we were as little girls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've heard this in your background, with your background, your as a therapist, is that we were socialized a lot differently than boys were.
Yeah.
We were taught to more often than not, this isn't always true, but more often than not, I heard, be good, don't rock the boat, don't be
Mm-hmm.
disruptive,
Mm-hmm.
be nice, play nice, share with others.
Yeah.
And yes, these are all good qualities to have, but at what cost?
Bingo.
There's nuances, right? Life is not static, nor are we. We are dynamic women. So can we trust ourselves enough to, on a moment to moment, case by case basis in our lives, to prioritize and reprioritize and learn and look at it at the bigger picture of, okay, so I'm growing and building my business, and it does take a lot of hours to coach clients and to host workshops and to facilitate retreats. And so can I look at the bigger picture of where are the times where I can create that harmony? So I don't necessarily believe in the word balance, because I think sometimes when we use the word balance, it can put pressure on ourselves that it has to be equal parts, or then that comes to that point of like perfection again. This is for me personally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what I've learned is that I'm always working to purposefully setting up harmony.
Yeah.
So there might be a weekend where my boyfriend is out of town right now. He's doing his thing, and he's doing a tour in Charleston, South Carolina, and my daughter is with her dad. And so
Yeah.
this is a weekend where I get to have time for myself. So what am I going to do? How am I going to utilize that time wisely? So
Yeah.
it's all about, because we are, as women, we're these natural caretakers. And so that is our superpower. It is not a curse. It is not it's a gift. It's
Definitely.
truly a gift. And so then we get to question as well the narratives that we might be telling ourselves of, am I being selfish because of this? Okay, well, have you been spending maybe more time doing this? And do you want to spend more time participating in your child's school fair?
Yeah.
Okay, great. What can you do to create that intersection of harmony? Might you need to delegate things? Might you need to say no to a few things? Might you need to rearrange a few things?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a fluidity thing. This is like going with the flow of our
Yep.
life, right? So
Yep.
one day is going to look different than the other. And how can we practice that level of acceptance that every day is going to be different? And also, how can we practice, again, the word
Yeah.
practice harmonizing all the different areas of our business, our life, our personal life, our relationships?
Yeah. The biggest thing as you're saying that, practice,
Mm,
practice this change. The biggest thing that comes up for me is there was a time where my biggest goal was to, be able to take the kids to school in the morning.
mm,
I was working at a hospital and the hospital would start, I would start my day at like 7:30 in the morning
mhm.
and the kids would start their morning at, I think, close to 8. So I wasn't able to take the girls to school. I had a nanny. And I remember being frustrated with that. Like, gosh, and then I'd be off by 4, and then I would go from the hospital to my office, and then I would work and see some of my patients until about like, 8 or 9, and then get home in time to maybe put them to bed, or they were already, in bed. And I remember just feeling so frustrated. And it's like, okay, Veronica, just keep your head down, keep hustling, do the work, and now it's like, okay, I am able to take the girls and pick them up from school, and there's still that voice like, okay, well, you still have to get all of this work done and you still have to do all of these things. And, there's all of these timelines, especially with owning a business. And one thing that I definitely forgot was there was a time when I was so jealous of that mom walking her daughter to school. And, I'm watching her walk her daughter to school and feeling so guilty because I couldn't even drop off my kid,
Yeah,
let alone walk her. And now I'm in this place where I can have these conversations with my kids in the morning and pick them up. I wasn't there before. And
yeah,
it's like it's just constantly reminding myself like that right there is success. Like that
absolutely.
right there, you are experiencing success, and going back to like remember the time, remember before all of these things happen, like your goals were to, have the things that you currently have now, right?
Oh, yes, you are resonating so much to what
Mhm.
I too have been experiencing. And the one thing that comes to mind is the gift of time.
Yes.
Like, we are meant to live our lives forward, but the way that we understand life is by looking backwards. We don't want to stay looking
Yeah.
backward too long, right? Because that has implications as well. But allowing yourself, Veronica, I love that you share that you allowed yourself the time to reflect
Mhm.
on the years leading up to where you are, and how amazing and beautiful it is that you're illustrating just what our lives are like, because now you have new goals. Now you have set new milestones for you.
Yeah.
And how stunning it is that you have had this understanding. Wow, I am where I wanted to be
Yeah.
a year ago, 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and you get to layer on. And so
Yep.
this is where the beauty is. It's not like, I like to use the word layer because it can often be like, okay, if we don't allow ourselves the time to really truly reflect, we will start to pile things on.
Of
And that's
course.
what causes burnout. That's what causes burnout and us spinning our wheels and depleting our energy. but giving ourselves time to reflect. And this doesn't need to be, an hour every day meditating. I don't have time. My ADHD brain has a hard time meditating. Okay. I do my best. But for me, I have
we all are here. We're
tools
all
and,
here agreeing with you, right?
yes, different tools and techniques for different people. Right. And
Yes.
I
Yes.
also want to say, like, we are always our own best guru, right? No one is a guru of your life. You know yourself better than anyone else does.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's stop beating around that and let's start taking ownership of that as women. Okay. We know ourselves better than anyone else.
Yes.
You are the guru of your own life. Now, coaches, therapists, wonderful people to have. I have all, because we need to have the
We need it.
support. Right. Exactly. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, I teach my clients, like, take what resonates and leave the rest if it doesn't resonate with you, because you are your own best guru. And so tools and techniques are going to look different to different people. It's not a one size fits all. And I love that you use this tool of reflection, because I too do that. And I do a lot of journaling when I have time.
Mm-hmm.
More than often than not, I'll take a few minutes before bed or after I wake up to just reflect,
Yes.
to just reflect. And that's something that I've experienced too, is over the years of growing my business, I have new achievements that to hit. I have new benchmarks to hit. And I get to now realize and look back and say, wow, look how far I've made it.
Yeah.
Because I too wanted to be, I get to volunteer at my daughter's
Yeah.
kindergarten class now.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I used to be so sad because I couldn't do that, because I was clocking in and punching in to do a shift as well at the hospital. And now I get to have this freedom. So recognizing that the gift of time, really, like, trust the process. If you're in a place right now where, again, I shared, the circumstances are kind of all up in the air and you're not where you want to be yet, keep staying the course. Keep staying the course, keep following your intuition, keep asking for support from people that are trusted advisors, and keep taking it one step at a time, because over time, in a year, in 6 months, in 3 weeks, who knows? I can't put a timeline on it. You are going to look back and make sure you're celebrating that. Make sure you're celebrating that in some way. And you are, by noticing it and recognizing it.
I love that.
That's the journey, right? That's the ongoing journey.
So with us wrapping up, I wanted to ask, how would we know we're stepping into our superpower?
Ooh, I love that. I love that. If it feels expansive and a little scary, I'd say you're on the right track. If it feels really big and slightly scary, I think you're on the right track.
What is one tip that you want to give the high achieving woman who's listening to you right now?
Give yourself time to reflect.
Yes.
And again, it doesn't need to be an hour every day of meditation. It can just be in the morning. A practice that I like to use is, what would you have me do? Where would you have me go? And what would you have me say? So I'll answer those questions, and then I trust, right, that I've already created some positive momentum. I've already started the day off.
Oh my gosh, that made me want to cry right now. Like, that was so beautiful. Can you repeat that? Like,
yeah, so absolutely. So the questions I ask are, what would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say, and to whom? And I can't remember, but I heard that years ago from someone else. And that is a practice that I love to use.
Yeah.
And then at the end, sometimes I'll either ask, I'll list 5 things. If I have time, I'll write them, but oftentimes lately I don't have time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's when I'm snuggling with my daughter and she's falling asleep. I'll list mentally 5 things that I'm grateful for, or I'll answer the question, what magic did I witness today?
Oh, I love that. One thing that I started to do in the mornings, just to bring myself back, to gratitude and appreciation. I'll look outside my window. So my window is like right next to, on my side, and I'll look outside and just for me, thank God, like, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to wake up in the morning. Thank you for, the man, my husband, who is laying right next to me snoring, Thank you for, the children you blessed me, even though there are times where I want to shake them, but like,
Yeah.
like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to live this, imperfectly perfect, blessed, beautiful, whatever, life. Like I get to experience my kids breathing and living. I get to experience my husband breathing, living. I get to experience love. I get to experience the day. Like, thank you for allowing me, to wake up and, get to experience life.
It truly is a gift. And I think I think if you've experienced, and I'm sure we all have had some degree of hitting rock bottom.
Oh gosh, yes.
And it it although it doesn't feel that way at the time, now that I can 3 years, 4 years
Yeah,
of distance from
yeah,
that, allowing that time to say thank you and to give gratitude to the things that seem so small and minute are it takes me back to the moments when I may not have even had that
yeah,
in the first place. So I
yeah,
love that you share that. It
yeah.
it it almost comes, it allows us to, that is truly the power of presence, right?
Absolutely.
Come back to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jen, this was amazing. This was so amazing. So for the ladies that want to work with you, that want to know all about you, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I'm there super active, and it's I am Jenn Adamson, and that's Jenn, Jenn. And then you can also find me on my website. I'd actually love to offer a freebie to anyone who
Yes.
is listening. So if you're just like, I don't know where to start, help me, I need some help, I got you. You can go to jennadamson.com//joyful purpose. And inside there, it's a free bundle of a workbook and a free audio meditation to start regulating your nervous system. It's a great way if you want to start reflecting. It's only 8 minutes long. It's a great opportunity to just start there and then take your time through the workbook. It's about 4 pages long, but they're really deep, profound journal prompt questions that will help you to start connecting with yourself more.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. You guys have to sign up for that. You guys definitely have to sign up for that. And let us know how it goes. Like, did you like the experience? What did you learn from the experience? What are you going to do differently? Jen,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Veronica. This was such a joy. Thank you for having me on your show today.